Hi, welcome to PhotoshopLightroomTV, episode 23. I'm your host, Marek Mularczyk from sitetraining.co.uk. Another week, another exciting new tutorials, tips and tricks in Photoshop Lightroom TV. A show about Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Photoshop Lightroom and Adobe Bridge as well. Okay, recently I was talking about a very nice new book that I received, 3D in Photoshop. That's the book I'm going to talk about today. A fantastic book from Adobe by Zorana G and Pete Falco, the guys from Adobe. If you're new to 3D in Photoshop, or if you're new to 3D generally, like myself, I've never used a 3D application. Most people find 3D applications very hard to learn. You'll love 3D Photoshop. There are so many really easy ways to achieve lots of effects in Photoshop. Now Photoshop Extended, because that's what we're talking about, only Photoshop Extended supports 3D. Photoshop Extended can also import native 3D objects. So if someone gives you a 3D object, you can easily import it into Photoshop. Okay, you can find more info about importing 3D objects into Photoshop on my blog, PhotoshopLightroomTV.co.uk. I've got a post that I posted last week about 3D objects in Photoshop Extended. I'm sure you'll love it if you're interested in 3D. Great book. You can find it in all major bookstores or at your local bookstore as well. So once again, it's 3D in Photoshop, the ultimate guide for creative professionals by Zorana G and Pete Falco. A great book, great resource. You can find it anywhere, right? If you're interested in 3D, you can also find some tutorials on 3D. I've actually created some tutorials on 3D, and you can find them on my YouTube channel. Okay, the link somewhere here near the bottom of the screen. Okay, now let's move on to our first tutorial this week, and then we'll talk about some more interesting features. Okay, so I'll see you back in a few minutes. Hi, welcome to this video tutorial. I'm Marek Mularczyk from sitetraining.co.uk, one of the UK's leading specialists in Adobe certified training, and this time I'm going to talk about lens correction. Lens correction is not a new feature in Photoshop CS5, but it's been redesigned now in Photoshop CS5. There are so many really exciting features in lens correction in Photoshop CS5. However, some options will apply to CS4 as well in case you use the previous version of Photoshop. I'm in Photoshop and I'm actually using Mini Bridge. And I'm going to open this image here. Ideally, I should be working with the raw images, but I'm going to use this PSD file that was that comes from Adobe. So I'm going to drag and drop it into my Photoshop window. Okay, you can see this image has loads of distortions. Now let's check the EXIF metadata. If we go to File and File Info, we'll have a look on the EXIF metadata, and I'll go into the camera data. So this was Nikon D3. Okay, and the focal length of the lens was 16mm, and the lens was 16mm f2.8. That's why the distortions. Now we're going to get rid of these distortions really easily here inside Photoshop. So I'm going to cancel that. Now the lens correction filter has been moved in Photoshop CS5. In previous versions, you would go to Filter, Distort, and Lens Correction. But it's not here. It's been moved straight to here, Lens Correction. Now I'm going to select that, and this will open a big dialog box with lens correction, very similar to Filter Gallery. Okay, and look at that. Now the lens correction detected the camera and the lens I would use. Okay, Nikon D3, 16mm f2.8. This is the information from the EXIF metadata. That's what we looked at in just a moment ago. And these are the camera settings. Okay. Now on the right hand side, now with CS5, lens correction of Photoshop will try to find the matching camera and the lens. So from here, I can see which lens was actually used. This was the Nikon AF fisheye Nikkor 16mm f2.8. Adobe, with the release of CS5, created a huge database with loads of profiles for loads of different cameras and lenses. Okay. By default, now lens correction will try to fix it automatically. Okay, if I click on preview, you can see a really good job. I mean, without doing anything, or just went to filter lens correction, it's all done. Okay, looks really good. Now we'll need to make sure that geometric distortion is checked. Maybe vignette, depends if you have any vignettes here, slightly. We can also tackle the chromatic aberrations, if there are any in the image. Auto scale image, yes, definitely. Otherwise you'll have something like that. Okay. Now if your camera and lens combination is not found by Photoshop, you can go in here and select your camera make. I'll stay with Nikon. Then you can select camera model and the lens. And there's loads of lenses in here. Lots of Canon lenses, Nikon lenses, and all the other brands. Okay. Now if you want to deal with the lens correction manually, you can do it as well. Okay. I'm just going to show you just a moment, because another thing I want to show you here is this lens profiles option here. Okay. There's a menu here, the flyout menu, where you can go here and you can show and explore, and this will show you the profile on your computer, because these profiles can be found on your actual hard drive. Okay, in the Adobe Camera Raw Lens Profiles 1.0 and Nikon folder. These are the profiles, LCP files, for all the camera and lens combinations. Okay, just going to cancel that. And another option here is that you can also browse Adobe Lens Profile Creator online. Okay, so you can search online for the options. Now in here in search criteria, you can also match image sensor size. Okay, so we'll try to match the sensor size of the camera with the lens. Good. If you want to deal manually with the lens corrections, there's also a custom tab in here. And custom tab looks almost the same as the lens correction filter from Photoshop CS4. Yeah, where you can deal with that manually. You can try to remove the distortion. Okay. You can remove or add vignette. Okay, darken corners. You can move the midpoint. Okay. You can also scale the image. So we'll zoom in and zoom out. And I want to do that. Okay. And there's a drop down menu here. So I'm going to set lens. Okay. So you can save your settings if you use them very often. Okay. I'm just going to enter to the default correction, not the previous. Okay. So it goes back to the default. And another trick for you is that if you want to reset this, because I want to go back to where I started, and I can't remember all these options here. I know I'm using the custom, but I can't remember the settings. What you can do is you can use the Alt key on the keyboard, and cancel button changes to reset button. This will reset it to the default. Okay, this would be Option key on the Mac and Alt key on the PC. So I'm back to my original. Okay, and I'm back here in the auto correction. I'll check the chromatic aberration as well, because it looks good. And I'm just going to preview once again. A massive difference. Yes, I did lose this part here, but it's okay. At least the lamp looks straight. Okay, and looks good. Okay, now I'm going to press OK to exit this dialog box. I'm back into Photoshop, and now I can use the advantage of using the Control Z or Command Z to see before and after. Remember, Control Z, Command Z only works once on Photoshop. If you keep on pressing it, it goes undo, redo. So that's how we can check the progress and see before and after here inside Photoshop. Control Z on the PC, Command Z on the Mac. That's before, that's after. Okay, I hope you enjoyed it. This tutorial about lens correction in Photoshop CS5. I hope you enjoyed it. Once again, I'm Marek Mularczyk from sitetrain.co.uk. Check out my other videos on a YouTube channel or on my blog PhotoshopLightroomTV.co.uk. And I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial in Photoshop. Now let me show you another one really quickly. I've got a nice tutorial for you on photo match and ContentAware Fill in Photoshop CS5. A really exciting, fantastic feature. We can use both these features together in Photoshop to improve your panoramas, the ones you created with the photo match. So let's have a look on that. Here I am inside Adobe Photoshop, and in this time I'm going to show you how you can, what we can do here. So I've got a panorama that was created using the photo merge command in Photoshop. Just to quickly remind you, File, Automate, Photo Merge. Okay, we've gone through the photo merge command in the previous episodes of Photoshop Lightroom TV. What I want to show you now is how we can deal with this white space around. Now, I could crop the image. To go to the crop tool, I could crop the image, but you know what? I'm going to lose quite a lot in here, right? Because there's white space. That's what I would do in the previous versions. I would just crop it, or I could use the clone stamp tool to copy the areas in here, but not in CS5. I'm going to cancel that, and CS5, I'll do something different. I'm going to flatten the image first, layer, flatten image. I'm also going to resize it because it's huge and it will take too long for this video to launch. So I'll go to image, canvas, image size. It's 12,000 pixels. So I'm going to resize it. I'll just make it 2,000 pixels wide, 420 pixels high, and I'll zoom in a bit. Okay, good. Now I need to select the empty areas. Because it's all white background, I'll just use Magic Wand tool, and with Magic Wand tool I'll just click on the white background. This will select all the white background in the image. And I'll just press the backspace or delete key on a keyboard. This will open full dialog box, and use content aware should be set by default. If it's not, just click on the drop down menu and select content aware and just press OK. And now Photoshop will do all the rest. It will look into the image, into the pixels, and will fill them with neighboring pixels in just a matter of seconds. And look at that. I'm just going to hide my marquee for a moment, or I'm just going to deselect it, Control D, Command D, and it's gone. Now I know it's not perfect because I can see some scratches in here, but you know what? I can use another new feature in the spot healing brush tool with content aware option set. This is new in CS5. I can make my brush slightly bigger or smaller. Just make it slightly bigger. I'll just click and drag around here, and in just a few seconds it's gone. Now do the same here. Okay, and it's gone as well. Now what about the sky? Well, we can do the same here. Just click and drag. Now you know how long it would normally take if you've done it before. Now it's just a matter of seconds. And in just a few seconds the sky will be fixed as well. Now how good is that? Okay, that's how you can easily and quickly fix this kind of an issue in panoramas. I'll just press F to go to full screen mode, and that's my panorama. I've got one more here, so I can quickly fix that, and this option here, maybe this edge as well, and this one here, and that's it. That's our panorama with fixed edges using the new ContentAware Fill and the ContentAware option for the spot healing brush tool. I hope you enjoyed it, and let's get back. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial as well. Now we're almost done this week. Tip of the week, as usual. Now this tip of the week will be in Photoshop CS5. Okay. If you're using the new mixer brush tool in Photoshop CS5, you can pick up the color from the image by holding on Windows. This would be Alt, Shift and right click. On Mac this would be Option, Command, Control. And this opens the HUD, the color picker, that you can select a new color. Okay. So this was the tip of the week in Photoshop. Thank you for watching Photoshop Lightroom TV.